This is my shine box.
No, it is. It's primer. It's anti-shine.
Shine box.
Michael brought his shine box.
Look at this. This is serious.
You insulted him a little bit.
Mike, you call him like Galileo right now.
There we go. You insulted him a
That's
little
the best.
bit.
That's actually my favorite scene in the whole movie.
You insulted him a little bit. Yeah, it's
Just like the whole thing.
Well, after
give these
Nikki
Irish hooligans a drink. You know, like give us a drink, give us a drink, and you just know it's coming.
Yeah.
And what's that actor? Vincent. He's dead. He's so good.
He's
I don't know if
the
you guys
ultimate
name.
that guy.
Frank Vincent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ultimate bad guy. And
Billy Bats.
Yeah, Billy Bats.
but they also
He's also
used
great
him,
in
they used
Casino.
him in The Sopranos.
Yeah. He was in everything.
He was in
He
everything.
was in Casino too.
Rob told me this morning today's the 26th anniversary of Lebowski. Actually,
Okay.
I have
That's
I have a hoodie. It says Jackie Treehorn Productions.
the dude.
And I walked into Twin Oaks the other day to pick up Logan, and one of the older ladies sitting behind the counter goes, "Who's Jackie Treehorn?"
Jackie Treehorn treats objects like women, man.
He really does.
I took you to the movies to Lebowski 25th anniversary.
Yeah, that was fun. That was surreal.
Wasn't that
Josh
awesome?
and I went to see the 25th anniversary a couple months ago.
on the
That's awesome.
on the
And it
big
was
screen.
so f***ing odd because I've seen that movie 150 times. Where do we go?
Jeff
Westbury?
Bridges did an introduction.
Oh,
With
that's
who?
even better.
I don't remember.
No, like at the beginning of the movie, he like was sitting on a couch. He's like, "Hi, I'm Jeff Bridges. Like, here's why this movie is like still resonates." I forget what he said.
I did that with Back to the Future.
Yeah, I did that with Godfather.
10 years ago, maybe?
I think that the movie theaters, if they brought back classics and framed it
Be
the right
huge.
way, it's a big people go.
Get rid of the 30 minutes of previews.
Yeah, just preview other 30-year-old movies.
So before yeah,
Oh, listen,
I'd do that all
when
day.
Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez did the double feature, Grindhouse double feature,
Right.
and they did Death Proof was Quentin's movie, and I forget what the other one was called, with the hospital and they're like zombies. But they put fake trailers. Machete was a
That's
fake
right,
trailer
Right. Yeah.
with what's his name, Danny Trejo,
but Machete's a real
Yeah.
movie.
and like Lindsay Lohan was
They-
in a fake
yeah,
trailer.
no, I think they
but
made
they
one.
made the movie.
They ended up making the movie because people were like, "I would see that shit."
Hilariously
cult
violent movie.
character. And now he sells tacos, I think. Does he have a
So
taco
Danny,
spot?
Danny Trejo is also he's like the Mexican Frank Vincent. I feel like
Desperado is like
he's
his,
like a bad guy
That's
in
what I think
every
of him.
great movie.
So before we just came on, I was looking at Nvidia.
Oh, yeah.
Nvidia,
It's-
listen to this nonsense. It's added, forget about earnings, which was 11 days.
So bullish.
All right, so 11 days ago, reported earnings. It's added
Right.
$660 billion in market cap since that. But
Larger than
but just
490 stocks.
just over the last 6 sessions, so since last Thursday, with no news,
Yeah.
since last Thursday, on average, $60 billion a day.
Added.
Subtle.
$60 billion a day on average every
On no
day.
new- on no news.
So that's $366 billion in market cap. That's bigger than Costco, and it's bigger than all but 19 companies
It's
over the last 6 days for no reason.
After already being up more than any
After
other
adding
stock.
$276 billion on earnings day.
it's almost larger than Apple.
It's taking
2-3, right?
Apple's
Yeah.
market cap.
Yeah.
That's what's going on, right? Is Apple shedding cap to the semis?
We came up with this phrase today, and an apple a day does not keep NVIDIA away.
Okay.
bad.
Well, to me, Apple is like 17% below its 50-day or something.
yeah, it's oversold.
But where is that market cap going? I think it's going right into
Ooh.
semis.
Semis, oh, yeah.
Ooh, it's coming.
Look at
See,
it.
there you go.
It's
That's
coming.
it.
If the day Nvidia crosses
it.
Apple,
That's it.
that's like
That's
the day
it.
that.
That
Sell everything.
might be the
How old are you?
37.
Were you alive? No, I'm just kidding. Were you in the business the
I
day?
didn't realize you were so young.
Look how I mean, guy's in shape. He's young.
Trying to
he's-
stay in shape. I got
virile.
small kids.
Do you remember the day where GLD crossed over
SPY.
SPY
Yeah, yeah.
on
That's
AUM?
11.
2011, yeah.
The ultimate gold sell signal.
That was the
I didn't know
actual
it.
top.
That was. Can I show you something?
Nvidia passing Apple would be a ring, ding, ding,
I
ding.
feel like that would say, okay, if you've been long, maybe it's time to.
Do you know that Van Eck does an annual gift?
Yes.
They do a Vineyard Vines
Is
tie.
that a
Did you see this year's?
robotic?
Yeah, it's
Robots, something like that, right?
It's AI. We got pitched something
right.
by a guy from Australia, and he kept going AI. It was amazing. All right, it's got like an artificial
Yes.
intelligence,
Yes, that's a cool one. I like
like
it.
a robot.
What
and
was
then,
last year Jerome Powell?
but that's a GPU. It's
Well,
a tie
so
with GPUs on it.
I had the fortune of
The call.
joining Jan, and I had to ask him like, "What is that robot?" He's like, "Oh, it's AI." Okay, took me.
Do you want this for your collection?
My collection?
Here.
Yeah, I have not worn a
That's-
tie ever.
That's my gift for you.
Don't re-gift a gift. Love this. All right. Thank you.
This is
Hey, Mike, just a heads up.
Yes.
When you call for charge, since they're numbered, just let me know the slide number.
Oh, wonderful. Who numbered them?
On the bottom right, there's a slide number.
So, Todd, how often do you produce these charts that we're going to go through today?
So every Tuesday, and this what I sent you guys over here is more just like the monthly handout if I go travel.
So, is the
Just a
monthly
compilation.
handout is not that's like fresh every month. It's not, you're not recycling charts for the most part.
No, for the fresh. Yeah, it's usually a compilation of recent work. It's just easier that way.
Yeah.
Rather than starting.
Yeah.
from
You're
scratch.
lazy.
Well, you know,
Your charts are really good.
Really
Yeah, I
good.
appreciate that.
Well, I was super excited to show people this stuff.
We try to keep it simple, provocative.
Hey, are you going to
History.
watch State of the Union tonight?
No.
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 Are you?
I had no idea it was on.
Today's
Really? Like
I'm
no
not,
clue?
I'm not online like I used to be. I had no idea it was on.
Okay.
I'm not a politics guy.
I know I'm not either, but I feel like
Um,
it's kind of like the one thing of the year that's
Wait, is the State of the Union annual? No, right? Semi-annual?
No, it's this annual State of the Union.
Annual. Huh, so,
So
last one
it's-
before the election.
It's just it's not important in that like you're going to change your mind on something. It's just like good to know. Oh, this time there's a buyback, anti-buyback stuff going on with Biden. They have a 1% excise tax on stock buybacks, and they want to take it to 4% or something. And that's like his red meat for the anti-billionaire crowd because they don't really understand how this stuff works. I don't know if there's anything else specific economically or stock market wise, but I just feel like
Talk about
good to
inflation
know.
coming down.
put it this way: if anything actually comes out that anyone's surprised about, you'll see it.
Yeah, I'm going to read about it
You'll know.
tomorrow. I'm going to watch Tokyo Vice instead.
What are you
Yeah.
drinking? Oh, Tokyo Vice.
It's fantastic.
I have not started it yet. How's the second season?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
That actor's great. The kid that plays the Jake.
yeah, he was in Baby Driver. I don't know if you ever
Oh,
saw Baby
that's
Driver.
right.
That's where he's from.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's a great movie.
yeah, fantastic. The whole show's great. I love it.
What are you
Ken Watanabe.
drinking?
This is a draft matcha latte.
Matcha, I was going to say.
Sounded fancy. Sounded expensive.
Did you learn that from Tokyo Vice?
No.
Did you watch the third episode of Shogun?
I did.
How was it?
Amazing. It's great.
I'm a little behind. John, we good?
Think we're good.
Let's get this shit started. In the words of Ronnie Mund.
Clock's coming in.
0% chance.
All right. Hey, John, what episode is this?
How about your friends? Episode 133.
Today's show is sponsored by the TIMA Cardiovascular and Metabolic HRTS ETF. Amidst the staggering toll of cardiovascular disease globally, there's a beacon of hope. Biotech breakthroughs are shaping a new era of treatment to combat the leading cause of death worldwide. Enter the TIMA Cardiovascular and Metabolic ETF, an opportunity to invest in companies that they've identified as leading the charge against heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. Obesity is forecast to affect 1 in 4 people globally by 2035, and obesity-related conditions like diabetes and heart disease represent vast markets with significant growth potential. TIMA Cardiovascular and Metabolic HRTS ETF, a better way to invest in life sciences.
Episode 133. The Compounded Friends. Put my shit on? Louder. I want my guests to feel it. So the vibes are important, right, Nicole? Otherwise, we'll just do this shit at Zoom. We won't waste our time. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Compounded Friends, episode number 133. Thank you, John. Duncan is in the house today. Nicole, Rob, Sean's here. Whole gang. All right. We have a very special guest today. We're talking to Todd Sohn. Todd is an ETF and technical strategist at Strategas Securities and Strategas Asset Management, an institutional research and asset management platform. Prior to Strategas,
It's hard.
Todd
It's a
had
mouthful.
several roles at JP Morgan and SAC Capital Advisors. Todd, what's up?
It's great to be
How
here.
you feeling?
I appreciate you guys having me on.
How was your weekend?
I'm looking forward to the next weekend.
Why? What's next weekend?
Well, it's just the weekend. You know,
I
the
feel
weekend.
you.
the
How
past
was
weekend
your
already passed.
weekend? It's Thursday.
We're
Yeah.
almost there. I don't know. How was your week?
Well, last Saturday was rough because it rained all day,
yeah.
and when you have two kids under 5, that's not good.
Is that your situation?
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
doing to celebrate all-time
Disney
highs?
Plus.
And the NASDAQ, the equal weight, the S&P, and the
So-
equal weight. All
so
4.
Equal weight S&P 500. I want to get this so I don't forget. Today will break a 544-day streak without a new all-time high.
What's up?
Third
Good?
longest.
Wait, is that good?
It's great. It's great. Third longest in history since 1990. And if you were to back test it, when you go a year or two, at least 250 days, the forward returns are usually pretty good. 2011 is actually the only miss on the equal weight index because 12 was a little funky.
So wait, third longest streak behind the dot-com bust and the GFC?
Exactly.
Not bad.
So in other words, like we've paid our dues.
we did it.
I think if it's not tech, then you've definitely paid your dues here.
Yeah.
And this, we can get into it whenever. This
We
idea
will.
of
I want to ask you
perspective.
about Strategas.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it so hard to pronounce?
That's a great question for Jason Trennert.
I'm just kidding. We love Jason, by the way. Mike and I, we just remembered we had beers with Jason at, I think it's gone now.
Todd said beer bar might not be there
I
anymore.
think
No, it's over.
like something else.
Do you know the same restaurant group owned every restaurant ringing Grand Central prior to the construction project at One Vanderbilt?
Didn't
They
know that.
owned the Spanish tapas place,
Gone.
the pizza place, which was legit, Naples 45.
Gone?
Yep.
Gone.
Naples.
What's there?
Nothing.
Oh.
There's an 12-seat omakase something there.
Some bullshit.
I don't know. I'm not
Naples 45, for people that worked in Midtown Manhattan
That was
in the 2000s, that was the shit because they would put out free pizza on the bar.
Yeah.
And those pizzas were giant rectangle sheet pans
The-
of legit pizza.
I think the thing I'll miss is that Beer Bar always used to roll out these huge TVs during the World Cup.
Uh-huh.
And so whenever there was a goal, we're right next to that.
Uh-huh.
You'd hear just noise.
I remember watching like the game was 2014 or something was like a
Yeah.
really big year. And that was cool. So that's gone. Everything's good. Everything. Here's what you should know about New York. Everything good is gone eventually. It's just that's how we roll. Although I went last night to a place that I think will outlast a nuclear holocaust. I went to Bamonte's in Brooklyn. I don't think
know
you
it.
can kill this place.
Where is it?
Yeah,
It's in Williamsburg,
Mm.
and has a cigarette machine right when you walk in.
Still functioning?
No, but they're not pulling it out of there.
Yeah.
Like everything
Old
is so perfect. You don't want them to change a centimeter of this place, and they haven't. But it's like the food. It's not a museum. It's a serious restaurant with a kick-ass chef, and the food is
I
unbelievable.
gotta check that out one day.
So yeah, you got to hit that. All right. So Strategas is research,
Yeah.
institutional research primarily, and then you guys were acquired by Baird.
Right.
Okay.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
We
So shout out to Baird. We have a lot of friends at Baird.
Mike Antonelli.
Yeah, Mike's the best.
It's my guy. Great person to joke around with, and we're both huge Disney fans.
Yeah.
I will say that.
He definitely has that Disney adult energy, Mike.
Oh yeah.
He was
I'm
my
not-
tour guide
He's the
when I
best.
went last
Oh,
year.
I'll take you next time.
Yeah.
Oh, you hung out with Mike again in
No, but
Milwaukee?
he gave me all the notes.
Yeah.
And Baird, they've been a great partner.
What
Well,
made
they're
them want to
advisors.
buy Strategas? Because they're Midwestern, very buttoned up. I know they
Yeah.
cover great coverage on like industrial America. You guys are New York. You guys are Wall Street. So
Right.
what was the match?
We're Wall Street in the old tradition. Jason loves the history of Wall Street, but we have a very fun culture, right?
Okay.
We take our business seriously, but don't take ourselves too seriously. And I think that culture, along with the way we present research, where you try to keep things simple and very visual for everyone, right? All of our clients are busy readers. They can't spend a half hour reading 7,000 words, right? We're chart based, and I think that really spoke to the folks at Baird.
Okay. Because so it's institutional caliber,
Yeah.
but it's easy to digest for all of their clients.
Exactly. It's,
I
it's
love
the
that.
type where you can look at it on a train and be good to go for your day.
Charts for dummies
Char-
in the best way possible.
The way I look at myself is keep it simple, sewn. Keep it simple, stupid.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so you're in New York. You're pumping out these amazing charts. What do you think people want from you, information-wise, in a tape like this? The market
Yeah.
is melting up. It's a game of like who could stick around the longest at this point without like losing their nerve. It's like it reminds me of chicken. Like Nvidia now 900. Like how much longer can you ride this? I don't know. I'll tell you at 1200.
So clients want to know: is this a bubble? How much longer can this go? And this is when you have to use history, right? To the point we were just saying about the equal weight S&P 500, that really hasn't run that far. You look at a name like Nvidia, it's 70% of its 200-day. It's actually
Todd, do they want you to give them a reason to stay, or do they want you to give them, here's what to look for to get out? What do you think? Like, I know not everyone's the same.
It depends on the client. I think mostly to stay.
Okay,
This is
that's
when
interesting.
so I think the
Is that
last
what you would have guessed?
No.
The
You would have
last-
guessed people want to sell
Yeah,
call?
give me a reason to sell, not to stay.
Okay.
The last 2 to 3 years have been a great case of when to stay involved, right? Because we're in a 24/7 news cycle. You're getting thrown information left and right from good sources, bad sources, weird sources. And then the market bottoms in October 2022 when it just felt awful. And we've
Yeah.
gone on this historic run since.
Yeah.
And if you stayed the course and respected the tape, did your due diligence, you've been off pretty well. We've had a lot of clients who've just been happy in cash, 5% yields.
Yeah. Not anymore.
Not anymore, right? The FOMO effect might be coming actually into play here.
Yeah.
With
So-
Nvidia specifically, prior
Yeah.
to February 21st, I was like, okay, listen, if this is going to be the leader in a new category, $1 trillion TAM or whatever the hell it is, I understand it's a $1.6 trillion market cap. It's a lot, but it's justified. It's growing rapidly. Its forward PE is not insane. It's a lot, but it's not insane. I take it all back. After the last 6 sessions and another $360 billion, and we're going vertical, this is not healthy.
It feels
You're pulling forward 4 years of
aggressive.
performance.
Yeah.
So my way of measuring this is if you look at the triple leverage semiconductor ETF, SOXL, if I can. I'm
Please,
allowed to
take
mention
her away.
tickers.
Take her away.
I never even knew that existed.
Yeah.
What is
Socks
it?
L.
SOXL.
Oh, that must
Stands for
look,
SOX levered.
that must look like the Empire State Building right
Look
now.
at the dollar volume on it.
Is it
It's-
mooning?
It's doing 4 or 5 billion a day now, which is pretty significant for a fund like
Could
that.
that move the stock?
It has to move this
I think so. Yeah, I don't know about Nvidia, but some of the smaller ones.
That could move like AMD maybe.
Yeah, the smaller guys, the Skyworks, the Corvos.
So who's like the fresh cash buyer of Nvidia right now? Like the dumbest asshole
It's gotta-
on Wall Street?
It's
Like honestly, like who's like the new money into
this
Nvidia
is-
right now?
I wonder, if you're an active manager, this stock has gone from 0.5% of the
yeah.
S&P to
It's a
5.5%.
career ender.
No, dude, the joke is
And
it's
you-
index funds, honestly.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's every single day.
It's everybody. The whole world's
It's
buying
us.
this stock. Yeah.
It's people putting their money.
Mike
into
said, "Where are those
brands."
assholes?"
It's us.
But now you have to deal with a third name that's over 5% of the S&P if you're an active manager. That's so hard to
Do you know
take
that
place with.
this is a true story? I invented this stock in 2015. I literally created it out of thin air.
Nvidia?
I swear to God, I did. There's a record of this. I literally went on TV. I said, take Netflix out of FANG, put Nvidia.
that's
hang
good
on,
one.
hang on. Josh is
I-
claiming he invented the question mark. This is out of control.
I
Buffoonery.
Absolutely did.
What Jensen Wang would have done what he did without your help.
No. I'm not saying I invented
Please.
the company. I said I invented
Please.
the stock. It's two different things.
You invented the stock.
Correct.
You listen. You had.
I made it
you
a
had
TV stock.
I'm not going to let you do this.
Not one person on
You had
TV was talking about
dude,
this
you
stock.
had a miraculous call.
Michael?
Miraculous call. Miraculous
this was
call.
not a CNBC ticker.
He invented Nvidia.
I literally invented it as a
FANG
stock.
does make more sense with Nvidia now because the Netflix never had a great influence on the S&P.
True.
Great stock,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it was always 1.5%. It wasn't 5%.
Well, it was very one dimensional. It was movies on TV. Like that's not a FANG stock.
No,
But stay tuned because
now they
now
got the live stuff.
they're going to
Dude,
start doing.
I own Netflix. I think this would be $1 trillion.
Yeah, I think so.
Dinner Time Live with Dave Chang. Good one. That's a fun one.
They're gonna go from boxing to you'll see they're gonna be bidding for NFL in 3 years,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe sooner.
maybe sooner. Anyway, so I invented the stock, but that's not even the point I wanted to make. You know that thing where you like discover this band
Mhm.
and it's like cool because nobody else is
Nobody,
into
yeah.
it, and then like this happened with Blues Traveler, which I also invented in 1991. They had like sort of a mini breakout hit with But Anyway. But I was listening to them in like 90, a full year earlier, when they were still playing Nightingales on 2nd Avenue. None of this matters to you. The point is, then they have this record with like 3 smash hit songs, and like girls in white Acura Integras are playing it like on their way to high school. And I'm like,
It's over.
oh, does Blues Traveler suck now?
What year was that? Run around in the Hook?
95, dude.
95.
95. But now I've come back around. Now nobody really cares that much about them. And when they do shows, it's like 10% of the audience is girls that were in high school in the 90s, and the rest is like back to their real
Do you know
fans.
how he's going to wrap this up?
I don't either.
I don't know where
have
this
no
is
idea
going.
where I'm going.
I'm not sure where this is
No,
going.
I never got that way with Nvidia, probably because I make money based on it going up. So I was never like, oh, Nvidia is not cool anymore to be bullish. And
Yeah.
actually, hilariously, all the value investors on CNBC are now long the stock too. And they have contorted their like
You got to change the narrative.
they have. They're like, oh, on a price to sales basis, it's one of the cheapest stocks. in the
No,
universe.
based on 2037 earnings, it looks pretty reasonable.
You can buy triple leverage in Nvidia, by the way. There's ETFs for that.
Yeah.
which
It's just solo Nvidia.
just Nvidia leveraged.
What's the ticker on that?
Well, there's a few of them. The one that comes to my mind is NVDL.
Why do you know that? What kind of
Is it
crackheads are you
ETF?
writing
I
Wait,
like
research
ETF.
for?
I really enjoy ETFs.
Okay. Look at this thing. Look at this.
I mean, you've made your career if you time this thing right.
Okay. But this is, you would agree, this is like one of the biggest story stocks of all time.
Oh yeah,
I mean, obviously, but
it was nothing a decade ago.
it's crazy.
Pre
Nvidia-
the creation of the stock.
The double long is up 200% year to date.
Yeah, it's
That's
not-
good.
not
Do you
bad,
remember
not bad.
this? Like in 2018, the stock crashed because of crypto.
Oh yeah, no, not 2018. Later, but yes,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
They were like Nvidia is washed
because it was like an ETH play,
It was an ETH play.
and also video games had a bear market too. So
They have a video game system which I've never played or seen.
They should spin that off.
is it possible for something like this to like? And I'm trying to be optimistic. Can this not end badly? Can this just go years sort of sideways, consolidate, or does there have
Well,
to be a 40% crash?
I never liked the this end badly discussion.
I don't want to throw
Like,
that out there. I don't want those bad vibes.
Yeah, well,
Everything
So-
ends badly, otherwise it wouldn't end.
Yeah.
Didn't you see Cocktail?
Yeah, I did. Great movie. But in real life,
so, I mean, the last time Nvidia did this, what, 6 months ago, it went sideways for 4 or 5 months, and then now we're
it
here.
traded beautifully. How many
It
times
was
did I tell you
perfect.
it's trading beautiful? Just going consolidating,
It was
consolidating.
absolutely perfect. It got super stretched. It was 100% above its 200-day moving average, and then it just went asleep for a few quarters or however long that was, and then it took off again. That is the best thing an individual stock can do.
So maybe it could do that again.
Correct through time.
What happened last May when it had that explosive like guidance?
Yeah.
Everyone said
The gap in this, it's
Yeah.
part textbook. Perfect.
That's a CMT's dream.
Doesn't get better.
everyone who had missed it and was mad at it, and there were a lot of people, the shtick was like, okay, that's amazing. Let's see him do it again. And LOL,
And
they did it like 3 more times.
Did it again, and some of their peers are doing it again too.
Yes.
in the space.
Can we talk about market conditions overall away from Nvidia?
Yeah.
You talk about the top ETFs to gauge market conditions. I like this because from my perspective, I know you guys do institutional research, but I feel like retail investors use ETFs to track the market. I don't think they care about the index, even if it's the same exact thing. They know SPY. It's like
Right.
good. It's like good enough. So take us through your 10 ETFs
So
to gauge the market right now.
ETFs are they have a dual purpose, right? Low cost, long-term, tax-efficient investing.
That's three things.
Or, well, that's silo one.
Okay.
Silo two
The
is
Nvidia levered long notwithstanding.
No. Just for the people who just try to save money out there. From my perspective, I love that they offer a lens into the psychology of the markets, right?
Okay.
Triple leverage NVIDIA, volumes in the SOX, SOXL. This is my version of that here. And I there's so many products out there that I try to boil it down to a short list every half or quarter to say, okay, here's what is on my radar. And to touch on a few of them, I mean, Mag 7. My friends at Roundhill, they changed the name of this product a few months ago from Big Tech to Magnificent 7. It was a great audible by them.
I was gonna say, what was it? Cole?
It was it was literally just called the Roundhill Big Tech.
MAGS.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
And
Now
this owns just the Mag 7
Just
for
own
real?
the Mag 7, yeah.
This has 69 billion in it.
Million.
So this has
Million.
I think probably closer to 169 now. This the AUM. This is a little dated. I'll apologize for that.
What else is in here?
ARC. You know
Okay.
the ARC story. I think that was more of a rate idea that if rates are going to go down to nowhere, then let's see if ARC comes back.
But ARK has not done anything, which is kind of
No,
remarkable.
She's not an Nvidia.
I mean she has been.
Not recently.
no, she sold a couple. Yeah.
Their crypto products doing very well.
Yeah. Okay.
But we'll see about that. Yeah, then you have stuff like your.
By the way, sorry, let's cut off.
Yeah.
ARK's down 4% year to date.
No, they had a good year last year, but yeah, still recovering from the
But
heyday.
it's interesting that we see this massive rally without the high beta tech participating.
Yeah, I think that's a huge difference now versus 2021.
What if this comes
When it-
back? Then what's the market?
Oh, then
gonna do?
we're getting real.
Then we're off
This
the races.
doesn't.
I
This
think, yeah.
doesn't come back if Tesla doesn't. Like,
True. Yeah,
Zoom
do I
too.
really have to have a view on Tesla?
Zoom
to-
too is a giant holding.
Zoom, Tesla, Coinbase.
Okay. Why do you have?
Roku.
Why do you have Alpha Architect US quantitative value in here?
So
We love those guys.
Wes
by the way.
Great, yeah, they
they're
do great products.
Wes and Jack.
This is the opposite of Mag 7 and ARC. It's literally they do some serious value digging, right? They know their metrics. They're real quant type guys. And so the idea is, okay, if that starts working, then we're seeing rotation into energy, industrials,
Oh, that's
materials.
interesting.
It's
By
more,
the way,
these are all
If
leadership
it's
ideas.
all-time highs.
The fact that that's going up tells me that this is a pretty broad market. It's more than
And
Nvidia.
this went, and when I say this, value went nowhere for years.
Yeah.
And now it's breaking out.
Yeah.
Big
this
time.
Is equal to
Bond
S&P.
blocks, B-rated USD, high yield corporate. So this is your proxy for junk.
Yep.
That's XB is the ticker. Why would you watch that rather than the other two, HYG and J&K, that everyone else watches?
This is literally
Contrarian.
just
This is your contrarian play?
This is just B rated. So
It's not all the junk.
Yeah, it's not too watered down.
Oh, that's
not
interesting.
Too,
This has no money in it.
so yeah, they're trying.
Okay.
Listen, and AUM can scare some people away in ETFs, but the basket itself is still liquid.
But when you say ETFs to watch, you're not just tracking the price, you're tracking the flows.
flows, the performance,
Because you're trying to understand not just performance, but sentiment. And
Yeah.
they don't always go in the same direction.
Exactly.
Okay, that's interesting. You have S&P dividend aristocrats, good call. SHY, BIL, which is short term.
Cash, yeah.
It's cash.
Wait, hang on. I want to stick with BIL for 1 sec. So this thing is a monster. It started out 2022 or with $13 billion under management. By the end of 2023, or at the peak, it had ran to 40.
Yeah.
And we know why, obviously. But now it's down to 31. So its assets are in a 20% drawdown.
Yeah,
so money's coming out
money's
of,
coming out, probably going other places on the curve or to stocks.
we're going to talk about this later. Money's not
Yeah.
coming out of money market funds, but it's coming out
Oh,
of
yeah.
short-term bonds. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
Because you know why? This is what I've been saying. This is money that's in the market. Money market funds are a different vehicle mentally. Like that's your cash.
Then a bank account.
A bank account is different than your brokerage account.
Yeah, I agree with
Money
that.
coming out of
My-
BIL makes a lot of sense to me.
My buddy at Strategas is Ryan Gabrinski. He's a great macro strategist. We go back and forth on money markets all day, which we can get into whenever.
We're going to.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do that. You have Japan and India in here as standalone. Is that because they've just been such outperformers versus other international markets?
Yeah, India, because of the China divestment theme that's going on.
India is the pivot
India is the pivot.
for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the guy from Apollo talking about doing business in India. He's like, this is not back office.
No,
We're like
this
making
is-
huge investments.
There's some serious
All
money
right.
going there.
I like that story. They seem to be enjoying it. Like the Indian politicians, the Indian business people. It's a moment.
They're in the spotlight because everyone's angry at China.
Like Apple is kissing this guy's ass.
Yeah.
Like everybody wants to be in India now.
That's the next big growth story.
Okay, I love that. All right. Then you're watching the U.S. dollar. JC's a big dollar versus stocks guy.
It's breaking down.
A lower dollar would be nice.
It is.
especially for
It's
international
going
stocks.
lower.
It's-
Helps everybody, right?
Yeah,
Pretty
I
much.
think lower
Look at
dollar
this.
is
Look,
always
it's-
good for risk
It's
assets.
rolling.
We'll see. I mean, the longer term, it's what kind of sideways over the last year and a half.
That's
but-
what they
saying
want.
last
That's what they want you to think.
Yeah.
Over the last week or so.
Yeah.
Alpha Architect High Inflation and Deflation ETF. That's one.
Wait,
HIDE.
High inflation and
Yeah.
deflation.
So
How does that work?
I think they position the fund
Oh, it
based
rotates.
on, yeah. Should we go into real assets or should we be into more growthy type assets?
Okay, so you're following these right now because they're important or they're tied to some of the major themes in the market.
Exactly.
And then you're trying to like gauge what's happening with price, what's happening with flows, what are the takeaways for our clients.
So you have
Exactly.
reasons for the BIL. You wrote largest cash like ETF ... flows to equity. Question.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly
'cause-
right.
And there's a whole spectrum of cash like ETFs. So if it starts to see from BIL, do I start to see from other related products? And does that contribute to the FOMO idea or where's that going?
Speaking of the FOMO, getting back to the nonsense, the Nvidia twice levered single
Yeah.
stock ETF. Guess how much assets is in
A
that?
billion.
$1.4 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's out of control.
That's top
$1.4 billion.
top quartile of ETFs basically.
And a
AUM.
stock that will give you twice the daily return of Nvidia.
It's
That will end badly.
It's a day trader dream.
What kills that historically is either obviously, a big correction in Nvidia, but if Nvidia just stops going up,
The decay.
then
kills
you'll
it.
have the
Yeah.
decay too.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't wish that on anyone. What are we saying about stock market apathy?
So
I don't see that as much these days. Do you?
not as much recently,
Yeah. I
but
wonder why.
over the last
John, you have that?
as we raised rates from 0 to 5%, every conversation I had was about money market funds, 5% yields. I can get 5%. I don't have to worry about stocks because of whatever story.
Yeah.
And when you looked at weekly money market flows, it was billions by the week. We're talking 60, 70, 80 billion
Records.
dollars. Records.
Yeah.
And to me, especially as the market bottomed a year and a half ago, I just felt that this was reflecting apathy. No one cared about stocks anymore. Stocks are done. 60-40 was
Even though
done.
they had a great year.
Yeah. And it went through last year too. Maybe that's starting to change now, especially as the hiking cycle might be done.
Do you think it was no one cared, or do you think it was people were afraid to express optimism out
yeah.
loud.
Yeah, that too.
So I think
Yeah.
there's always an element of that too.
People were scared. But I found it amazing that the most pedestrian vehicle on Wall Street, money market funds, and especially retail money market funds, their asset growth was 32% in the last year.
Yeah.
Anyone would,
During a stock bull market.
during a huge bull market,
You call this a cycle-defining chart. Why?
it just shows you where rates have gone. Right?
Next
From
chart.
Zero policy,
Yeah.
0% ZERP rate regime to high for longer, whatever we want to call it. And money market funds have just been the beneficiary. They're the best-selling vehicle basically of all time now.
Yeah. And cash on the sideline is a recurring bull trope,
Yeah.
like with good reason. But it's like actually true now.
Oh, it's totally true.
Yeah.
And I think the institutional AUM, that I can see staying on the sideline because if you're a corporate treasurer,
5% is
you're,
great.
you're keeping that and
Yeah.
that goes
You have a
on the balance
bogey and
sheet.
it's probably not 12%.
Yeah. So the retail is what I'm really focused on now. And I get it. There's demographic issues out here, right?
But look at this chart that you have. So you broke the money market AUM into retail and institutional, and retail it's still
retail is
pouring
just
in.
linear by
It's
the
still
week.
pouring in.
They love it. 5%.
Where is this? All right. I
But
don't know.
that's coming from the checking account. It's
I
not.
don't know anything.
it's not-
Where is this coming from?
Paychecks, and I don't know if people are selling stocks.
No,
Is
they're
that right?
not.
I don't know.
No, they're
What
not.
stocks are they selling? Because
They're
everything's
not
up.
selling stocks.
That's
It's coming
Nvidia.
from their checking account.
That makes sense.
Everything is up. What are they selling? Honestly, I'm not even joking around.
Apple,
Yeah,
who knows?
no,
Nobody's
fine.
selling Apple to put it into a money market fund.
They love
Speak
their
for yourself.
5%.
It's checking accounts.
I mean,
That makes
this is
sense, too.
bananas. It's still coming in by the truckload.
We're going to
It's
get new data
crazy.
in like 2 hours from ICI. I'm curious to see what the retail number is and when does real FOMO set in?
Well, your take is that the flows are not going to reverse. It's not a market story. It's a what story?
Yeah. So the flows in this won't stop until you get cuts.
This is
towards
you.
like 3%.
You said Fed funds rate. You're showing the bottom pane.
Yeah.
That's the Fed funds rate. That's the Fed's overnight policy rate versus
A Vanguard.
that's a
money market
Vanguard
fund.
standard 7-day yield
Right.
money market fund. And they are in lockstep, obviously, as they should. And you're saying it's likely money market AUM doesn't meaningfully shrink until these rates are sub 3%, where more competitive equity yields are. So you might not see that this year, no offense. I don't think the Fed has that in them.
No offense.
I'm not offended. I won't take any. You can make fun of me all you want.
None taken.
You can call me names all you want on this.
I don't think you can.
I totally agree with you.
I think you're right, but I think it's early for anybody.
I
to
think the
look
market
at
could be up 50% this year, and money will still stay in money market funds. It's
That's
different buckets of money.
It's crazy, right? Just to think, it's totally different buckets of money. I'm agreeing with you, but it's also crazy to me that
But
we
also,
could have back-to-back 50 years on the Qs.
I'm thrilled to get these returns in the stock market. I have plenty of money in stocks between my retirement account and my brokerage account.
Yeah.
And I have a ton of money in cash, and I don't care. The fact that I'm getting 5% of my cash, I love it. I'm not mad that the market's going up.
Those numbers show it too. Everyone loves it because you haven't. It's like the analogy I like to make is that going from 0 to 5 was I just put a bowl of M&Ms in front of my starved kid. He's hungry after school, and here you go. And he's just going to town.
Yeah,
That's
he's
what
not
they
even
do.
hungry anymore. He's just
He
going.
doesn't even care.
But can I say
Yeah,
one?
so I don't need Bamontes. I've got my M&Ms.
Can I say one thing though? I also think that there's a really strong muscle memory on the part of the investor class. They know how quickly a plus 10% year in the S&P could become plus 1%. You know how fast these gains can be taken away, and that's not going to happen in a money. The worst thing that happens in a money market is it yields less going forward.
There's a cut, yeah.
But it's not a cut to your portfolio value in stocks. So I think people remember.
That's how much people love money market funds. To
What
to
is
your
this?
point, what are we looking at, Todd?
This is 40 years of net flow data for mutual funds and ETF vehicles. And the red line there
Holy
is
shit.
money market
This
flows.
is a face melter.
Money markets are the
This looks
best-selling
like
vehicle.
Nvidia.
Yes.
The best-selling vehicle of all time.
The most pedestrian and best-selling. Now, equities have a problem because mutual funds and ETFs are at odds with each other, right? They're both you make money out of mutual funds, money into ETFs, so they're netting out.
Yeah.
Bonds are generally fine, but when money markets get going, they're I don't know, they're Jalen Brunson going on a
There
hot
we go.
streak.
Now
There
we're
you go.
talking.
But I'm trying to wrap my mind around. I guess it's money supply writ large because gold is up.
Yeah,
Value
strange.
stocks are up. Japan and Europe are up.
There's
Where
some
is the
crypto.
cash coming? It's got to be coming from people's bank accounts.
That would make sense.
There's
also
no
don't-
other. There's no
you
other
know,
place.
That's a question I am just
yeah,
frankly not
crypto
smart
is up.
enough.
Home prices are up. Everything
There's
is
a
up.
lot of liquidity. You had a lot of asset price appreciation in the last 18 months, and people just need to put it somewhere.
Todd, people get worried in the market when things are really calm and there's just a melt up. People like their antennas go up, like something's going to come out of nowhere. This can't go on forever. Actually, you have empirical research, evidence, data showing that a low VIX, a calm market is not necessarily anything to fear.
Exactly. I think the VIX prognosticators, every time the VIX becomes a teenager or less, there's always an article headline, oh, low VIX, be careful.
12.
It's BS. Okay. Yes, of course, at some point it will spike.
Yeah, we all know that.
We all know that.
But what does the data show?
The data shows you get pretty good returns. 12 months out, when you're in decile 2, as we are flirting around with right now, the S&P 500's on average up 10%. You get standard returns.
Can we pause here?
Yeah.
Decile 2, meaning we're in the second least 10% grouping
exactly.
of volatility, day-to-day volatility.
So
as
you
measured by
plotted
the VIX.
that against forward S&P 500 returns.
Exactly.
And there's no reason to think that an 11 or 12 VIX regime
is a bad thing.
means a 12-month return that's lower.
Yeah, no.
Why do people think that?
For years.
Why do people think that?
I think people just instinctively don't trust. They just don't trust calm markets.
Gambler's fallacy.
Totally.
They think there's complacency. And maybe there will be, and it will happen.
Yeah.
But more often than not, the statistics skew to positive returns.
Because if you would say to me, like, what's the best time to invest? I don't know if I would say 12 months from now, the return, but I would just instinctively say, give me a 25 to 30 VIX. I'll put my life savings into the market that minute. I don't even care what the news is.
Yeah.
And I also know I would be right.
So this graph
and you know
shows
I
you
would
that.
be right.
That's
Exactly,
right.
yeah.
That's definitely right.
A high VIX, 30 and above, is okay. You're in the pain
March
zone.
2020.
Yeah,
Hold on,
you're-
I was like VIX
That's
60.
an amazing insight, though. A super high VIX and a very, very low VIX.
The tails.
They might not be an equal 12-month average performance, but they're both not bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
It's when you start to get the higher VIX along with higher equities that things are a little bit unusual.
Yeah, but you have to 25 VIX. That means the market is expecting 25% move in the market inside of a 30-day period.
Yeah.
You have to blindfold yourself, put a Parliament light in, spark a Zippo, take a huge pull, and just empty your bank into the market when that happens.
Yeah. When you get panic VIX, that's a great time to buy.
I love that. I literally do that.
And Mike just said March 2020. That was the whole world was ending.
So there's VIX spikes and there's VIX regimes, right? 2022 was a higher VIX regime, and now we're low. It's been 14 for a long time.
Yeah, it's just
beautiful.
If you've stayed out of the market because the VIX has been a bar mitzvah age, it's been a mistake.
Yeah.
And the data shows you that. Do not fear low vol.
It's interesting why so many people struggle with, like, it's complacency, but complacency is not always a signal that something's about to go wrong.
Yeah, eventually it will manifest itself.
Oh, a friend of mine who knows nothing goes to me the other day.
Dude, stop subtweeting me.
Is the market going to crash? And I was like,
people are scared.
I said, why? He's like, I don't know. Isn't it doing so well? I'm like, but why would it crash? And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, because there's
No, seriously.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to Chipotle. No, I get it. People don't. I suffer from this. People say to themselves, "This can't last. It's too good," and I totally get that mentality.
No, because all that normal people know, all that they like stick out about the market are the crashes, right? They're not paying attention to the market 99% of the time. They only get it when it's crashing. So they think crashes happen more frequently than they do.
Yeah.
People like catastrophes, I guess. I mean, that's
I don't
why
think
we
they
have so many
enjoy
catastrophic
it.
movies.
I think they anchor to it because of how memorable it is.
That's
That
all.
too,
That's the
yeah.
only time most people are.
Yeah.
When people, if you don't care about the market at all, your only exposure to the headlines are when the market's crashing.
Yes. Yeah, you start getting alerts on your phone. It gets front page on whatever website you're reading.
All right, let's show people this. Put up, John, VIX spent a large chunk of 1990s below average levels. This really gets to the heart of it. You could have a decade of substandard volatility, and it could persist for years. And I lived through a lot of this in the early days of my career.
If you stayed out of this because the VIX was low, you are literally smacking yourself in the
can you
face.
tell people what the numbers are?
So, I mean, this is the VIX from 91 to 99, right? One of the great bull runs in history.
What was the ceiling on that VIX? 22?
Well, from 91 to 96, you barely made it to 20.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah,
average
one
was 18
spike.
maybe.
You had a spike in 94 with the
You had
bond
a little
stuff.
spike there. And that was it. It was very short-lived. And then it wasn't until later in the 90s when you had some geopolitical events go down that the VIX finally started
But
to get
here's what's
agitated.
funny about that. Because this is right when I get my Series 7, 97. What's funny about that is as the VIX goes into a higher volatility regime, the gains for stocks start to accelerate.
Yeah, yeah.
Other than like this one little mini episode in the summer of 98, like 96, 97, 98 make today's NASDAQ look fairly tame. So
Yeah,
that's
true.
and that's with a higher VIX too.
Yeah. I mean, you
It's almost
averaged.
as if the VIX is not helpful at all to anyone.
I am not a huge fan of it, to be honest.
I'm not either.
It's a lot of attention, and I just wanted to run some data to help our clients out.
We had Bob Pisani on the show last summer. He put out a book.
Yeah.
First of all,
Fun book.
he was so great on the show. But he did this like master class in how absurd the VIX is. Like when you see it in the 20s, like think about what people are predicting is imminent. It's almost always going to fade.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important takeaway.
We're in this unusual market environment where just things are going well, right? Like obviously it's things are going up. You have a chart showing the 3-month percent change plotted against the percentage above the 200-day moving average.
Yeah.
And we're in the top quartile of those two events. And again, you have this table showing forward returns. Not bad.
Not bad.
Next chart, please, John.
Momentum is great. And so along with the VIX, another fear factors. Oh, we're too extended. The market's run too far, too fast. You're 10, 12% above your 200-day.
It's such an easy comment for anyone to make. And it always sounds smart.
It sounds smart, but the data tells you the exact opposite.
Yeah, bear sounds smart, bull sound naive.
Yeah,
But you
and-
don't know the rest.
No, but the extended part, like when you see your favorite football player score 5 touchdowns in a game, like it's conceivable he could score 6, but it's like ridiculous.
Yeah. But
And then it's not path dependent.
he could still, or can he do it again next week?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
4 next week.
So you show that when the S&P 500 is in the top quartile, so the top 25% of 3-month percent change,
Mhm.
and how extended it is, which that gets people nervous when you're
Yeah,
really,
you're above 10%.
you know, when
basically.
you're really going vertical. You show that 250 days later, the average return for the S&P 500 is 11%, and it's positive 81% of the time. So
Wow.
You can't beat it.
it's pretty damn good.
Momentum
It's pretty damn good.
works, and occasionally it'll mean revert, especially in the near term. But again, don't be scared by extreme stats or low VIX.
So if
or
you knew
extreme
the
momentum.
odds, and we know the odds, 80% of the time historically, it's been higher,
Yeah.
then does that mean that it's going to be higher for sure? No, but you've got a good chance.
it's all about probability skills, skews, not skills.
I'll take 80 over 20.
80 is way greater than 20, and if you're just trying to stay invested, that's all you need to know.
So to your earlier point, like this is the chart you put in front of. You put this in front of the long only asset allocator who has to decide, am I still riding a 60% stock allocation into 2024 or am I dialing that back to 55? You're giving them cover to stay at 60.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I just give them these numbers. They can make their decision.
They might
Just
decide
know.
on some other basis, but if you're not gonna decide on VIX when I'm done with you, and you're not gonna
Yeah.
decide on it's overextended.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also maybe just, listen, there will be a correction. I guarantee
There
it.
will absolutely, it could start tomorrow for
Yeah.
all we know. But the statistics say over the next 6 to 12 months, we're in pretty good shape.
I love that. What's this? Only a few weeks removed from a surge in 20-day highs. What are you showing us here?
So what we were just looking at before was index level momentum, right? Just the price change. Well, it's also important, especially now that we have 5% Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, to look at the internal breadth skews of what's going on within the index. Indices can lie to you. They mask a lot of what's going on. And so we always measure this percentage of stocks trading to new highs, right? Just a typical technical metric. And in late December, right, as there was a lot of consternation over the narrowness of the market, right? You had one of the best 1-month high readings we've seen in years. So that means reflects major momentum, participation all over the place. And again, when you get surges in the percentage of stocks making a new high, it can be short-term climactic, right? A little mean reversion pause because things got overheated. But in the long run, it's a great signal on the durability of a new bull market.
It's another way of saying breadth thrust.
Exactly. Yeah, it's breadth.
When did that spike occur?
It's late December.
That was 70% of the S&P
Yeah.
making a 20-day high at the same time.
Yeah. And that's
So
a really good reading.
I like that. And you don't expect it to stay there. You said, all right, it backs off for a day or two.
You get overheated.
But think about what's going on for that to happen. That's
Oh,
everyone
that's-
deciding they don't own enough stock.
It is indiscriminate buying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I love that. What's the bottom pane? Oh, that's
that-
showing the percentage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
So
it.
when
that's
that
the key
happened,
part.
look, we went sideways. Yeah, it was
You-
crazy
you,
extended.
you pause for a few weeks, maybe a month. And again, not a perfect signal, but the forward returns more often than not are good for the bullish investor.
Let's do this. Can correct in the near term, but a strong longer term message. That's another way of saying what you.
Here's some similar comps. 2019, 2020,
So you get this 20-day high surge, and here's what happens
So
after.
over the next month, the signals are pretty mixed. In fact, kind of skewed negative, which you would expect.
Exactly.
When things get crazy stretch in the short term, you'll give some back.
With the other analogy you can make is, okay, I just ran a 4-minute mile. I'm pretty friggin' tired.
It's a rubber band.
I got
but over 6 months, 12 months, there's some negative numbers here, not a lot.
not a lot.
There are no 12-month negative numbers.
The probabilities are very much in our favor if you want higher stock prices.
And when you look at the market of stocks, to quote a JCism, like how can an overwhelming amount of demand for
be fair.
of buyers possibly be bearish?
It's not.
If you think that's bearish, you will never make money.
Exactly.
If you're a knee-jerk contrarian and you're like you're trying to fade everything in sight, you're already out of
Dude,
there.
we've been doing this for 15 years.
You have
Yeah.
to look at the data. Just because the market ran up a lot doesn't mean
All right, so
We're
this
done.
Todd, every time over the last 15 years when things got extended, the bears came out of the woodworks.
Yeah, to extent. And listen, if you're a day trader, okay, maybe it's not the
Fine,
most
yeah.
timely, but for investors that I think we're all in the same time frame here, this is great. You can't ask for much more.
So this is the next area. Is the rally broadening or not? I think. All right.
Wait, this is not a debate.
No, the data is clear. The data is clear that tech, outside of the semiconductor explosion, a lot of like large cap tech is probably the polite way to say it is just consolidating. Like you don't have any blowups really.
No.
But what you have is name brand, Dow component, S&P 100 companies that have nothing to do with AI breaking out.
All over the
Costco,
place.
the latest example today.
Costco's a semiconductor at this point, the way it's trades.
Holy
Costco is
shit.
17% year to date. Reported tonight. I don't know what the numbers
Wait, this
were.
is going parabolic.
It must be
honestly.
it's got to be the hot
They
dogs.
reported in 15 minutes. Right. So that's just today. But in the last couple weeks, it's Walmart. It's
Yep.
Target had a
Target.
huge move.
IBM.
IBM today.
Yeah.
Go down to Chipotle, McDonald's, all the Home Depot.
Look
What
at
do you
my
got?
Dollar General. I own
Disney-
Dollar General. This stock's going vertical.
I mean, even Target's starting to go
Disney
up
made a
again.
52-week high last week.
Love me some Disney going up.
All right. So it is broadening. The problem is it hasn't yet gotten down in market cap to the small caps. And
Right.
but equal weight looks fine.
Yeah, equal weight's great.
So if you're looking at Russell 2000, which in my opinion, people should not use that as a gauge for what the S&P might do.
No.
We have to grow out of that nonsense.
The Russell 5% rates have revealed the flaws with the Russell 2000.
Totally agree.
Regional banks, boom and bust biotech,
Real estate.
they've struggled. Real estate, yeah, that index has struggled to adjust. I
Dude,
think.
what people never mention when you're talking about the Russell 2000 as a reason why things aren't as good as they seem or whatever. How about the fucking mid caps? What about
Mid caps made a new high.
all time high?
Yeah, mid caps are great.
Looks amazing.
There's parts of small caps that are doing fantastic.
Remember when that actress
industrials?
was doing mid-cap commercials for
It was Elizabeth
spiders?
Banks? Elizabeth Banks, I think.
I almost said Elizabeth Holmes. It's Elizabeth Banks. You're right. She's a great actress.
Yes.
She was like, "Yo, what's wrong with mid caps?" And everyone was like, "No, nothing. It's fine. It's okay."
Caps are great.
Yeah.
I-
All right. So it is broadening definitively.
Yeah, so it's all about the bench. We have an index that masks a lot of what's going on, right? The biggest stocks have
Let's
the
see
most
this chart.
influence.
The bench is essential for 2024.
Yeah. So
Okay. What's the bench?
the bench,
Equal weight.
equal weight S&P 500, Russell 2000, and one of my favorite underrated funds, the Vanguard Extended Market.
Did you see I have this in the bottom of the doc?
I did.
Can we do
I
it
did.
now?
Sure.
I have
Strike.
I have newly discovered this.
This is a fantastic ETF.
This is the
Josh invented this.
You invented this.
Michael Santoli told me to look at it. I asked aloud on the air, will CrowdStrike be the next S&P 5? First, I called Sean from the desk. I'm like, Sean, you have 30 seconds. What's the largest non-S&P company that could make the S&P?
Just look at this.
So it's KKR.
Okay.
Slightly bigger than
Yeah.
CrowdStrike. But those are 1 and 2, and then Snowflake is 3. But this index fucks. This is the largest Russell 1000 companies that are not yet in the S&P. What an amazing hunting ground for names.
this was a really cool fund when Tesla wasn't in the S&P.
Yeah. I remembered it from them, but I just
Yeah.
all right, so these are the names. CrowdStrike, Snowflake, Workday, Marvell, KKR,
A lot of tech.
Apollo, so private equity.
52-week highs today. Looks great.
Chenier, Atlassian, which is Team. I never heard of Ferguson PLC. Datadog, Block, DoorDash, Palantir. These are names. Now,
They're-
what most of them have in common is they haven't put together 4 consecutive quarters of positive free cash flow.
Right.
And that's kind of what Sam Stovall wants to see before he gives them the nod.
Before you get in the index.
And it costs them, it costs you
It was the
because
same thing with Tesla. It was however many billions of dollars before it finally got in.
SMCI.
SMCI is in small and large. now.
What idiots are buying that
wait,
stock?
but Mike, isn't
I'm kidding.
this a great list? I'm sure the ETF is interesting.
It's hunting ground.
Right, because these are like amazing companies that are on the cusp of full-blown profitability.
And also, people
year
know to
profit.
front run the indexes.
Yeah.
This is the list
Yeah,
they
I mean,
look at.
you get an ad name from here added, it'll probably pop.
Uh,
like Tesla.
so Super Micro is still in this, but I think it did get added now.
Yeah, that's in the
So
S&P.
there might be some delay in how long
in
the
the,
ETF holds on to these names.
Yeah, the rebalance. Vanguard usually lags for like a month.
All right, so that's part of your bench. I love that.
Yeah, so think of the Mag 7, the top 10 names. They are LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right? They put up 30 a night. They push the index higher. But I need
D'Angelo
to put in 15 tonight, or I need Austin Reeves, or I mean, we could use a Knicks example. I need Josh Hart.
Our bench is like basically the team right now.
Yeah. The bench, as long as the
Everyone's
bench
hurt.
participates, we're in good shape, especially if one of the stars goes down, like Apple right
But
now.
to stretch an analogy, what you don't want to see the leaders falling and
And the bench.
right? Like you don't want to
Yeah.
see Bogey scoring 27 points a game with Jalen on the bench. That's not good. Or Jalen being hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great.
But how many times can you hear people be like, Apple's holding up the market? Well,
Yeah, it's-
are you saying that now?
Yeah, so what are you
idiot?
going to say now, tough guy?
It's a 7% weight. Of course, it'll hold up the index.
No, but Apple's
How about Apple's an ATM machine?
Well, now it's
no,
not
Apple's
working.
down 40% from its highs and the market's at an all-time high.
Yeah.
So now what?
the bench is working.
And if the Russell 2000 breaks out, which by the way, you have a chart showing that this is the 4th longest streak without a new high in the Russell 2000.
Yeah.
What are bears going to say if that makes when that makes a new all-time high?
Let's double click on this. I love this.
So you talk about bear markets and how bad they've been, right? How desolate. And Russell's getting up there in terms of length, right? The bar is really low for small caps.
What's the numbers? This is the 4th longest bear market for the Russell.
It is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4th longest consecutive days without a new all-time high for the Russell 2000. That's how bad
it's so bullish, though.
terrible it's been. Yeah, the bar is super low for small caps to work. Maybe they're not an outperformer by a huge margin, but these numbers, we're getting into extreme territory in terms of
Should
Well,
I
guess what? We don't
just
need 'em.
blindly
Yeah.
buy
We don't-
small caps right now for like my higher risk tolerance bucket?
I like it, yeah.
But the 600 over the
Are you
2000.
but are you PGing it?
Ooh, it's a 600 over 2000.
What's the historic?
Probably.
Because I'm asking you, what's the historic after it comes out of a period like this? How good are the returns?
Oh, you know what?
Well, just eyeball it.
I mean, they look pretty good. I don't know have the exact numbers off the top of my head.
I feel like it's going to be really good.
But it should be good.
And all these bullshit regional banks that everyone's so worried about, they're just going to shrink in. They're just going to shrink in proportion to the good small caps.
There's this interesting evolution going on within large and small cap indices where the banks are shrinking in Russell 2000, the industrials are taking share, some tech, some discretionary.
Yeah.
Healthcare, I'm not really sure where that one's going to go.
But that's going to turn into a great way to play the American reindustrialization.
Yeah.
That small cap index, because that's what those companies are.
I mean, there's a
lot of home building stuff in there.
Home builders. This is where I think active actually works. Active doesn't work on large caps because it's too hard to outperform. But if you are a smart small cap active manager, this is a great.
So the data doesn't back up what you're saying, but I've always believed what you're saying.
Yeah.
I've always believed that if I were to be a stock picker, not me, anyone, you probably have a better shot looking at things that 8 million other people aren't looking at.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just
I agree.
intuitively. Now, unfortunately, Spiva says, nah, not really. But I get what you're saying. And I actually think that that's probably a more interesting career too.
Yeah.
In stock picking.
It's too frustrating to try and be
One of
active large.
my favorite small cap stocks right now is Callahan Auto Parts.
Why is,
What
why
What a,
is
show,
that?
what a
What is that?
showstopper.
What is
Is that a Tommy Boy reference?
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Terrific. All right. So you're telling me blindly buy small caps. I like your advice. Thank you for that. Let's do the sector flows chart, John. So this is XLK relative to the S&P
Yeah,
500.
yeah. So if there's a risk, right, flows, anecdotal observations, volumes are getting aggressive for tech, and rightfully so. Tech has been phenomenal. We've been talking about Nvidia here. So I love tracking flows to sectors just to see, okay, what's a little bit out of consensus, what's aggressive. These are not signals, but they help explain psychology of market
You see
participants.
this bottom
This is
pane?
nuts.
This is so crazy.
And so over the last year, tech ETFs, so broad-based like XLK, the semis, the software, have taken in $18 billion.
yeah.
And then all the other 10 sectors have seen minus $18 billion.
It's amazing.
It just happened to be symmetrical, but a lot of money out of healthcare, a lot of money out of energy, stable. So this just makes me nervous if I'm a tech-focused manager right now.
Okay. Oh, can we do one more thing on small caps really quickly?
Yeah, let's do it.
Clear this up for me. Why would I even look at the Russell 2000 when the small cap 600, which is Standard & Poor's version,
Yeah.
deletes all the non-profitable? And I don't know if they deviate that much all the time, but
They're pretty different.
There's some nuances.
you have less biotech by definition because
Exactly.
you're pulling out all the money losers.
Right.
What else?
It's probably some software.
More
some tech,
software or
yeah,
less?
I think less.
in the small cap 600.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
so. I could be
guess
wrong,
so.
but it just makes sense to me because.
So what do you have more of though? Do you end up with more financial?
I think more banks. Yeah.
Oh, so then that. I don't want that.
I could be wrong. but
Okay.
Not off the top of my head. But if you want the quality filter.
Well,
you
we
go
know
with the small cap
RIA,
600.
we know RIAs that are like either a DFA shop or they're similar, and they
Right.
just won't allocate to money losing anything. So
mean-
they will. So when they do the small cap bucket, if they're not doing it inside of DFA, they'll do it with small cap 600.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. So Russell 2000 is more a little bit of a risk barometer than
Okay,
to measuring small
Yeah.
caps.
I'd buy
So
that.
semis are a little bit stretched.
So,
They're-
speaking of
yeah, they're
tech
up
flows.
69% over the last 52 weeks. Pretty nice.
I love this chart.
It went from 2% of the index in January 2014, grew to 3.5% in 2019, and now it's 10.5% of the index. That's kind of wild. It's going to
Dude.
pass banks soon.
It's going to pass software soon, which is the largest group weight in the S&P.
I think a lot of
This
people
is-
are forgetting how cyclical semis
Oh, yeah.
have always been, more so than software.
So Broadcom is $600 billion market cap now.
Yeah,
Obviously,
check-
NVIDIA,
and
AMD, Intel, Micron.
Well, this is interesting. Inside of the semi index, look at what the biggest weightings were 10 years ago. It's pieces of shit like Qualcomm that never go
Oh, yeah,
anywhere.
I forgot about that.
Texas
Intel,
Instruments. right?
Texas Instruments, those stocks do not matter at all right now.
No,
statistically.
It's all about the ones Mike was just saying.
Yeah.
Those-
AVGO, ASML, these are the stocks
And
that
there's
really matter.
TSM's not in this index, but TSM, right?
Oh, is
So,
ASML in the US semi?
I don't think so because
It's
it's not
the
a
same
US.
shit, though.
Yeah, it's part of the same idea.
It's a global
So
semi.
this is a worrisome chart.
This is extreme.
Not to be alarmist, but
No, I agree.
it's going vertical.
This is vertical. It's extreme. It's also part of the index evolution.
So you're telling me short this, go long Russell too. I like where we're headed.
I would
I
not.
like where our heads are at.
I don't want to stand in front of it, but I just want to pay attention to that. Okay, hey, this is
So getting
aggressive.
getting back to it's funny because on the one hand we're talking about the euphoria and then we're about to talk about the apathy, and of course it's not apathy, that's a bit extreme, but it's not quite the euphoria that existed in 21. That doesn't mean it's not crazy.
Right.
It's just not insane.
We're not there yet.
So in 2021, using ARK as a poster child, the flows into ARK were miraculous. From March 2020 to February 21, it took in $35 billion as it was peaking out. And since then, there's still nothing much going on. It's lost $9.3 billion in outflows and nothing with nothing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they've built a great ETF business. They've done what 1 in 1,000 have tried to do.
Have you ever gone down there and spent time with them?
I have
No.
not.
Okay.
I have not had that.
But it's
fortune.
not just high beta tech,
But-
right? You can
yeah.
use the Goldman Index, whatever. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a very similar idea. So I'm just using this as a proxy for investor sentiment, right? Do I see it?
Unprofitable tech, to be clear.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
When I
good.
say high beta growth, I mean ARK traffic's there, or that the Goldman
Yeah.
non-profitable.
They
tech
really,
basket.
they really though,
Money
they
hasn't
lean
come back.
into innovation more so than of course, technology is a huge part of innovation, but she'll own like DraftKings
Oh,
and
yeah.
Teladoc, and these are not semi stocks.
So
These are
They're-
That's not a lack of appetite for risk names. It's just that the market doesn't want money-losing companies in this environment.
Yes, exactly. Especially with 5%.
Right.
Right.
that's a good way of thinking about it.
I'm just curious if money starts flowing back there at some point, but nothing yet.
So where's
Don't
money
forget.
flowing since 2023? You've got this fund flows chart.
Yeah. Okay. So The big story for me is what's going on in fixed income. Actively managed bond mutual funds are now seeing money come out, right? We know the story with active equity mutual funds, right? They've been seeing outflows for years because of performance, because of cost. And now, because we've had this rapid rise in rates, you're seeing money flow out of those funds, I think, for tax loss harvesting purposes or whatever the situation is. And that's very different than what we've been used to. And now that money's starting to go to fixed income ETFs.
Can I tell you something? Did you ever look at the returns of the most popular actively managed bond funds?
I haven't.
These guys are doing like 2% a year. Honestly, like for all the media appearances and all the slide decks and the bullshit, there's like
Not much.
it's not their fault.
No,
That's the
they-
environment.
That was the interest
Oh,
rate.
true,
What are they
yeah.
supposed to do?
There's nothing they could have done differently unless they were going to like lever up irresponsibly,
No, yeah.
right? Like, so I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying if you're an investor and you're looking at in your portfolio, where am I paying fees to and getting nothing? That's the answer.
That's-
Well,
Yeah.
but what the story here is money's coming out of actively managed bond funds. It's the same thing with
Yeah.
stocks. People are harvesting losses and they're just putting it in the index.
And they're putting it in a different wrapper. Yeah, so this is nothing to do with the managers.
No,
'Cause
they
they're so
can't
smart.
do anything
No.
about the
But
environment.
this is to me about a wrapper.
It's tax loss harvesting.
This is a wrapper, and that the growth of ETFs now shifting to fixed income
yeah.
as opposed to just passive equity.
But so the big bond shops, they understood this. They built ETF versions of their flagships.
Oh yeah,
all
Yeah.
of them.
They
get it,
They're all coming. If they're not here, they're on their way.
of course, and that's the responsible thing to do, because you have to. If you're an asset management firm, you have to go to where the people are. You're not going to get them to go back in time.
Yeah, you have to give the solution they want.
Yeah.
Some people want to stay in mutual funds for whatever reason because they're comfortable with it. But I mean, ETFs.
What do you
are-
think has to happen with rates
Mhm.
or economic data for there to be substantial manager dispersion in the active side of fixed income? Like let's say you're PIMCO or you're Double Line, you're one of these great bond firms. What are you rooting for your own chance to outperform?
There would have to be a blow up that you miss in a certain segment of the market.
Okay. So the alpha of avoiding damage.
Yeah, I was just going to say volatility. I wonder if that's the easy answer.
Do they want volatility, or do they just want structurally higher 10-year where everything else keys off of that? I don't know. I don't have an opinion.
I don't know if I have a great answer, but that would make sense. Or some sort of
You're saying movement.
movement, volatility, and
Dislocations.
an event, some sort of event.
Event they could either bet on or avoid.
Exactly.
So like a blow up in office space that they don't have
Blow up in some sort of corporate sector where they leaned into it or they completely avoided it at the cost of their competitors.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense to me.
I think that's a simple answer.
That makes
Josh,
sense to me.
You're excited about Robinhood?
Should I buy this thing? Did you buy it?
No.
I think it's going to 25.
I don't want to buy this stock.
I really don't
It
want
looks-
to either.
yeah, it looks
but I'm
fine,
pretty
but
sure
I'm
it's
just-
going.
okay.
I'm pretty sure it's going much higher. I don't normally. I don't know. All right. Here's the point. I thought a couple of things. First of all, Robinhood just told the street yesterday. I guess they had like CEO day or something. Vlad came out of his sarcophagus and spoke to the press, and he said 25%. I'm just kidding. 25% of total trading volume at Robinhood is now coming outside of traditional market hours. So that's retail. This is not Instanet like the old days.
Right.
This is retail trading after 4:00, or in some cases now, I think on the weekends.
The toothpaste is out of the tube for retail.
Well, I think it's a big moment, and not a lot of people are talking about it. But I think weekend trading is on its way, and it'll be treated like sports. And it's no different than sports betting.
yeah,
and
that's true.
crypto.
Yeah,
There's
definitely.
what is the difference?
But there will be relatively little trading unless there's an event. But
This
when
is
there's an
the
event,
point. It's going to be
they will
so
trade.
exciting because of how wild it's going to be.
Yeah.
There's not enough liquidity for it to be orderly.
But I agree. Yeah, you're right. 98% of the time there'll be nothing, no trading, and then the 2% of the time when you have the events, there'll be a ton of trading.
Right.
It sounds
But
exhausting.
market makers will make
Exhausting.
markets,
Oh, yeah. Dude,
100%.
it's going to be a whole new
and they're
business.
going to make a fortune.
But this reminds me of when the fast food companies all figured out, wait, we can make these people fat at 8:00 in the morning too?
Breakfast all day.
No, the new day part.
Oh,
It's like,
oh.
how about a burger in the morning, but it's a sausage instead of a beef patty? And they're like, oh shit, we could do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, just tell the people to come in earlier. And that's, I don't know, $1 trillion. So this is a whole new business For the millennial generation and younger, they want
usually
this.
take Saturday mornings to reset and just hang with my kids. I couldn't even.
Well, that's
fathom.
over.
No, I'm saying
I
no,
couldn't
but
fathom
people
doing
won't
this.
trade unless there's an event. But when there's an event, they're going to trade their ass off.
All right, consumers have traded more than $10 billion in volume overnight since Robin launched its 24-hour, 5-day-a-week trading. All right, so it's not weekends yet.
That's not that much.
But it's Robinhood and it's retail.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
But is that stocks? Because if it's not, then it's a lot.
Oh,
of
they
crypto.
quoted. I know this guy, Steve Quirk. He used to be a TD. For a lot of the customers here, the notion that they have to wait for somebody to ding a bell 2 times a day to transact is very foreign to them.
I get that.
True.
Yeah. By the way, Carl Quintanilla just tweeted money market assets hit fresh record $6.08 trillion.
Now we got to see the breakdown.
That's kind of wild.
It's a train that doesn't stop.
The stock market is not stopping money market funds flows. It's just not.
Yeah. I still think it's apathy.
So here's the thing with the ETF thing, though. If stocks are moving, let's say they go to Saturday, they do a 4-hour Saturday session just to test it out.
Right.
And you get a stock like Nvidia make a 6% move, which is totally conceivable. Do the ETFs eventually have to start exploring how there could be some sort of automated participation on the same day as the stock? I feel like they have to.
They have to, yeah. I don't
They
know.
have to.
I don't know how the plumbing would work.
Because
But you're
even
gonna
if a stock makes a move on a Saturday or a Sunday, that could be negated by Monday's open if the volume overwhelms that movement and just completely makes it like it never happened.
Right.
But what if it doesn't?
You could have some dislocation. I mean, you're going to start seeing ETFs if they're trading at
I'm telling
Premiums,
you,
discounts.
I think ETFs start to trade 24/7
that's
algorithmically.
going to be fun.
I mean, I just can't.
Listen, and they will work.
I don't
right?
like
The
this,
rapper's
by the way.
been-
I'm not into this,
I'm
but
not into this
I
either,
also
but
know it's going to happen because I hate it.
the rapper has been time tested, so that they'll work. But
So
yeah,
do we now
this
work
doesn't sound
7?
great.
Do we work 7 days a week now?
I already do.
Yeah, I guess. won't make much of a difference to us. All right, I have nothing else to say on Robinhood other than I wanted to put up the chart. John, we have a price chart. If I took the ticker off this and I didn't tell you what it was, you would probably say low volume pullback to 15, buy the shit out of it,
If I'm putting on my CMT hat, yeah,
right?
why not?
Right. I'm just saying, like,
Even back to 13,
yeah.
right?
I think Robinhood uniquely will get off to a head start in after-hours trading more so than any of the other brokerage firms because that's what its users are.
Yeah, they're at the forefront of that.
Oh, they'll
stuff,
roll
right?
this out before Fidelity does, obviously.
Dan Dolev is bullish on Robinhood. He's the fintech analyst at Mizuho, friend of the show. His price target is only 17 though. But he sees all these catalysts as helpful to Robinhood. So I might end up buying this. All right, what do we do? Mike, what are we doing next? Bitcoin.
All right.
What's the race? What's your
What on the ETFs?
yeah.
It's fantastic.
Which one are you endorsing? No, I'm just kidding.
All right, so here's a stat. This is from this guy Hodler15 on Twitter. Hodl15 Capital.
That's me.
This is so insane.
Hodl 15 Capital.
BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF has bought in more Bitcoin than was mined every single day since the ETF was launched. Look at this.
It's at 10 or 11 billion now in assets.
Which chart is this? The blue bar chart?
The blue bar chart. Next one, please.
That's a cool chart.
So
we'll go back. We're gonna go back to this.
Okay. So total Bitcoin ETFs, total assets past 50 billion.
Yep.
I think Grayscale is about half of that. But even if you exit out, it's still 25 billion in
Yeah,
ETF.
Grayscale's 27-ish,
So-
despite seeing outflows.
Wait, don't we have a chart though where I know this isn't true?
Oh, here you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
This is the money out of Grayscale and into the others, and it looks
yeah.
like that matches up.
No. No, money in has swamped the money out.
It's about a net of plus 9 or 10 billion.
No,
I
it's
know,
more than that.
I
It's more
know
than
it's
that.
more. I'm just saying it's funny. It's
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
It's funny to see one
there's-
lose and all the others gain.
So with Grayscale, I know that there's some stuff going on in terms of getting money out of the company. Not too in-depth on it. But it also, they're charging 1.5%, and I can get the others for free.
Yes, but
So-
if you have an embedded tax liability,
Well, yeah, okay,
Michael explained this to me, and you're basically trapped
You
there,
don't-
or
you
you're
don't
taking the
wanna take
taxable
taking
gain.
the hit, yeah. There's a
Are
lot
you
of
surprised
variables.
that BlackRock is outraising Fidelity by double?
No, because BlackRock is a leader in ETFs, and they're not screwing around with this. They know that
I mean,
it is-
Fidelity's pretty big ETF
But
shop.
Fidelity too. I don't think it's a surprise that BlackRock is outpacing them, even though I get Fidelity as a digital asset group. But BlackRock,
But Fidelity
No.
has Here's how I was thinking about it. Fidelity has been crypto forward relative
for
to
a
all
while,
of the
yeah.
other brokerage firms.
True.
And they have the account base, the retail account base. BlackRock has incredible sales coverage of the
yeah.
industry, distribution, but Fidelity literally has
But not to minimize
captured native
But
accounts.
Fidelity's taking in what, $7 billion or
Yeah,
something?
they're still,
Crazy number.
still doing really
It's
well.
still a lot.
I think BlackRock looked at it as it's rare you get a new asset class into the lexicon of ETFs,
Oh,
right?
dude.
Equity, commodity, fixed income, now
Kathy's
crypto.
out raising Matt Hogan. That's a surprise.
So
That is a
the
surprise.
second tier is still doing really well.
You're surprised
I'm
by that.
surprised. I'm very surprised by that.
It's a marketing war.
Here's a crazy
It
crazy
is.
data point
It
from
is.
Jim Bianco. The 10 spot Bitcoin ETFs had 709,000 trades yesterday.
Wow.
That's more trades than SPY and QQQ combined. That's unbelievable.
That's wild. This is for real. I know there was a lot of speculation that they'll flop or whatever. I mean, these
I said
numbers back
100.
it
I
up.
said 100 billion, and I was joking, but I think that's actually
think
where
you
this
Well,
is
they're
gonna
at 50
settle out.
already. Now
Yeah.
GBTC
Yeah.
included, but still, they're at 50 already.
My guess was this will get to 100 billion just in ETFs, and I think that's
I think you might be right. I mean, the
Like by-
flows.
like by the summer.
I don't know what happens when crypto corrects next, and how big it is. What happens?
Oh no, it can't. Don't you understand the halving?
I
It
don't
can't
actually.
ever go down now.
I don't get the halving thing.
No, it's not complicated. It's more demand than supply. The ETFs are buying more
Dude,
than
I
there
just said
exists.
this. BlackRock alone the ETF has bought more Bitcoin than has been
Yeah, so
mined every single day
what-
since it came to
What
the market.
happens when that
No,
runs
it's
out?
a one-way trade.
I
It
don't
can only go up.
Wait, what happens when what?
when you're not mining anymore?
What is that?
And however many years when there's no more Bitcoin to mine.
So bullish when you
No,
stop
that's
mining.
that's like way,
No
way, way
supply
into the
ever
future.
again.
It's way into the future.
I mean, how many years though?
That's 2177. So start drinking your own urine so
Oh,
you
is
don't
that-
lose vitamins and
that
stay alive.
like Blade
So
Runner type stuff.
you just gotta outlast everyone else to make it to the end of mining. Do you have any idea how much these ETFs will have in them by the time that happens? This isn't a one-way trade. There's no reason why it would
I
ever
mean,
go
they
down.
don't have ETFs.
There'll be
then.
no more Bitcoin. They'll start adding gold to these ETFs.
The
They're gonna
dips-
start
the-
buying.
The dips in Bitcoin can be measured in nanoseconds.
They'll buy dog with nunchucks, which I learned about today.
I like dog with nunchucks. I'm bullish
Yeah.
on that one.
Is that a coin or a postage stamp?
I don't know, but I like it.
Okay, I want in.
This goes back to my martial arts background.
So your dad's a martial arts teacher. What is he? Is he Steven Seagal?
His name is Steven.
Seagal.
Yeah, I didn't.
Steven Seagal.
I explained this to Mike before.
Wait, he's a martial arts instructor. Did he train
yeah,
you?
So when I was younger,
Okay.
I explained this to Mike earlier. That
Did you have to paint the fence up and down?
uh,
No side to side.
he's been a martial arts instructor for 35 years.
Yeah.
He has one of the largest schools in the country,
Wow.
and he's taught some pretty well-known people, as I was explaining to Mike, particularly from the Cohen family
Oh wow.
of
Yeah.
SAC Capital Advisors. That's how I ended up there.
Okay, that's how you got your gig. All right,
Yeah,
good for
luckily
you.
enough. I'm extremely proud of him, but I forget where we're going with this. But yeah,
Could you beat him up?
no, he can beat me up.
Yeah.
It was-
Is it black belt?
He's multiple times
Multiple black belts.
It was.
Did he ever compete?
No. But he goes to UFC fights with some of his friends that are much younger, like the UFC fighters.
How did he get into that?
I don't know.
Okay.
He was a music teacher
Yeah.
and then got into karate.
Not a lot of overlap there.
No overlap.
Typically.
I think he got laid off from the music teacher thing, and then he started up a small karate school and just grew it over the last 35 years.
Does he watch the Karate Kid remake
Where's
on
his,
Netflix?
where's his dojo?
Eastchester, Scarsdale, safeandfit.com.
Okay. Good
If you
plug
ever
for
wanna-
good plug for dad.
From my father's karate studio.
All right.
Terrifying growing up with a martial arts father
Yeah. Why?
because he could beat the hell out of me.
Yeah, but-
not that he would.
Not that he would, but he's Jewish.
Yeah.
So that's not going to happen.
No, but it was just he was big and strong. And I'm
Yeah,
a little
Jewish
guy.
men don't hit their kids typically.
No, there was no abuse in our
There's a
family.
lot of guilt though. It's almost worse.
Very scary.
I would almost rather take the punch sometimes than what I had going on.
I
in
mean,
my
you
house.
almost threw my PlayStation out the window. You got mad.
Right. Well, listen, karate men bruise on the inside. Remember that.
So,
All right. Did you have fun on the show today?
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was great. I
Okay.
loved it.
Did we get out everything we wanted to get out? What did we miss?
Great charts.
Thank you.
Your charts are great. What did we miss?
I need to give I would love to give a plug to our asset management arm.
By all
Shameless
means. That's what we're here for.
So listen, you introduced before. We have our institutional research is run by Jason Trennert. my boss.
Jason,
our
by the
chairman-
way, what's Jason? Jason's awesome.
Jason is fantastic. He's great.
Yeah. He's not good enough to get on this show. That's why we had you.
Jason's a great writer.
Yeah.
I've learned so much from him about market history over the last 11
I was going to
years.
ask you, like, who are your mentors? Obviously, Jason.
From the industry or at Strategas in general?
Whatever.
So
Like,
Jason, my teammate Chris Verone,
oh, we know Chris. Yeah.
John Roque.
Chris is a technician,
Chris is our CMT.
and John is a technician as well.
John has been super kind to me.
But
Okay.
he's not. He does his own.
No,
thing.
no, he's
Yeah.
just a good guy. Also a martial arts
Yep.
master.
Yep.
And then I think in the ETF space, Dave Nottig
Oh
and
yeah.
Eric Balchunas.
Those are two of the best guys. Period.
On the Mount Rushmore of ETFs for me.
Yeah.
I think those have been the most influential for me in terms
Who's
of
the
my
Mount
thinking.
Rushmore of ETF? You got to throw in Todd Rosenbluth and Tom Lydon.
Matt Hogan.
Oh, you got to throw in Hogan.
Matt Hogan.
There's some names.
I don't know if 4 is enough there.
Yeah,
But
no.
Eric and
Ben
and
from
Dave,
Morningstar.
Ben Johnson, another
Yeah.
great guy.
Okay.
But so speaking of ETFs, we have our asset management arm. We do offer 2 ETFs. One is the ticker SAMT, Strategas Macro Thematic Opportunities ETF, a little bit of a mouthful. But what that does, it's unique because it rotates themes. So we'll take Jason's ideas, right, from our research. And if he says, okay, reshoring is going to be big, cash flow is going to be big, free cash flow, or AI is going to be big, we'll boil that down into 4 baskets of stocks and put it in the ETF.
Okay.
That's the way that works.
How often can that like make those kinds of shifts?
Every 6 months, whenever, they're themes, so they try to have staying power.
So if someone's like, I really like Jason's research and I believe in his big
Exactly.
picture
Yeah.
opinions, that would be a way to like express that in a portfolio.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So that's SAMT. And then we also have a Strategas Policy Opportunities ETF. That's SAGP. That's run by my teammate Dan Clifton and Courtney Rosenberger in DC. And I would look at this as a form of factor investing. And what they did was so you have momentum, quality, value, right?
Yeah.
They're using lobbying intensity. So the companies that
Oh,
lobby the
interesting.
most in Washington, DC.
So they'll be watching tonight.
Oh, I'm going to hear all about it tomorrow from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my recap. That's why I'm not watching it.
Lobbying is a factor. For
Yeah,
sure.
lobbying is a newer factor, and so they do this on a global scale, global companies, and it's 100 stocks in that ETF. And listen, like any other factor, it goes in and out of style, but it's different. It's absolutely different.
You know who's
So he's-
who's lobbying like there's no tomorrow? Amazon.
Yep.
And crypto. Well,
Mm.
I don't even know if crypto's lobbying. I know they're lobbying. They're trying to actually elect people or actively put candidates up against people who are crypto hostile. And I think it's going to work because they have endless money right now to do this.
Yeah.
So if you've been somebody that's been getting sound bites on C-SPAN talking shit about crypto, like they're going to come for your seat. And they could afford it.
The AI is next, I think.
Okay.
Whatever AI companies are going to start lobbying.
AI
for-
lobbying.
Yeah,
Oh, that's going to be
I think
that's going to be
that's
enjoyable
Dan's
for everyone.
been mentioning that's starting to come up. I think in
There's an
calls.
article, maybe in Puck, about Andreessen and all the time he's spending in Washington. So,
And that's-
talking about
that's
AI
related to
stuff. Yeah,
crypto.
totally. No, AI.
More AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to be long companies that are like
lobbying because
getting things done for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the idea
All
behind
right.
it.
That's it. So I don't know if that's I'd be curious to like on the energy side, all they want to do is drill more.
Mhm.
That's not always good for price.
No.
So
There's a lot of healthcare in it because they want drugs passed or some sort of regulation.
okay.
A
All
lot
right.
of
Well,
healthcare.
listen, we think the world of Strategas. So much respect for the stuff that you guys put out. We love
Thank
your
you.
stuff. As I mentioned to you, when I see you in the media, I want to hear what you have to say.
I appreciate
so,
that.
Yeah, and thank you so much for coming. Will you
Thank you,
come
guys.
back?
I would love to. If you'll have me. Please.
What are you doing tomorrow?
I'll be at the office.
After martial arts, what do you got? What do you got going on?
I will
All
be
right.
at our office and then take care of my
Todd
kids.
Sohn, ladies and gentlemen. We always finish the show with favorites. We just like give the audience a little something that they should check out that we are currently being entertained by. So, what do you have for us for favorites?
Let's see. Tokyo Vice on TV. We talked about
On
the top.
Max.
On Max.
Yeah.
And then in books,
Duncan, you enjoying that this season?
Yeah, it's great. It's one of my favorite shows.
I think it's really
John,
well done.
too? Big thumbs up? Yeah, I got to get into it.
Very
good.
well done. I want to go back to Japan. I went there 8 years ago. I need to go back now after this show. Books, Billionaires Row.
Did you go to Japan 8 years ago to get revenge for a match your father lost?
It was the guy from Karate Kid 2.
Kumite.
Karate Kid 2. Your father is a coward.
All right. I love revenge movies. What's red carpet?
Oh, so this is a book I just started. It's about about China's influence in Hollywood.
Oh, I'd love to read that. Who wrote that?
It's a guy named Eric Schwartzel, I want to say.
Yeah.
I might butcher his name.
Yeah.
And you think about some movies, especially big blockbusters.
Star Wars, Marvel
specifically, like they had to cater to China to get that release in the region.
So, but what does that look like? They have to change evil characters away from Chinese and make them English.
Top Gun, right?
Yeah.
No bad.
Oh, they
depictions.
took the Taiwan patch off his leather jacket for Top Gun.
No negative depictions of the region.
You know, they haven't had a Chinese bad guy since Rush Hour 3.
And you never. No, it was an English guy who was a bad guy in Rush Hour. Wasn't it?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was that
It's
guy.
always
It was the guy from Batman
Listen,
Begins.
you can always have an evil English character.
Yeah, you're right.
Nobody will break your balls over that.
You're right. I can't
You
even
just-
remember that.
Yeah, no, because I don't have that much going on. All right, is it a good book?
So far, so good. I'm very early on.
Okay, what's Billionaires Row?
Billionaires Row is about the 4 gigantic buildings on 57th Street.
Oh yeah, like 157.
157, 220 Central Park South.
434 Park is not quite there, but it's the same
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Wait, you're reading a book on that?
I read it. It's fantastic. It's great.
These
Catherine
apartments are
Clark, maybe?
these apartments are basically like safe deposit boxes, right?
Yeah, so a large portion of that book was about how all the money just came in from overseas.
For the not Chinese, don't say Chinese. We don't want to get canceled.
Yeah, no.
The
Be
Middle
careful.
East.
Russians.
Middle East, Russian.
What's MCU?
That was a very good book about the entire Marvel history.
Oh, I
studio
know who
history.
wrote that. What's her name?
Joanna Robinson,
Yeah.
maybe?
She's great.
Yeah, well,
She's
I
on
mean,
the
I'm a big
Ringer a lot.
nerd with that stuff.
That's in trouble, dude. I think
Yeah.
MCU reminds me of like where I think the Magnificent Seven is headed. Like,
I like that analogy.
like-
I might have to take that.
you just get to a point where people have had enough and they want to do something different.
It's getting tiring.
It's tough.
It needs a break.
I think it's getting a break.
Oh,
People aren't going.
It peaked. It peaked. Three
People
years
just
ago.
won't. They won't go.
It peaked with Endgame.
Infinity War or Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
All right. I just want to mention Shogun on FX one more time. We've been talking about this a lot, but it's because it's great.
Yeah, it's quality.
So I met a Japanese person yesterday who was also watching it, and 80% of the show is in Japanese. Like it's subtitles,
Yeah.
but that takes courage on the part of FX to make that creative decision.
wait,
and-
wait. You have a chart for this?
Yeah, what are you pulling out here?
Hold on, we're talking a lot of Japan right now.
Okay.
And we have to talk one of the charts I have in here.
Can we?
Because I'm super proud of it.
Okay, go.
So we talked Tokyo Vice,
Yeah.
Shogun, which I haven't watched yet, but I need to. And then the Nikkei is at a new all-time
Let me
highs.
see. Okay,
Right?
yes.
The last time the Nikkei was at new all-time highs, Michael Keaton played Batman and Beetlejuice.
1989.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. He played Batman last year in The Flash, and he's playing
And
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice
again.
is coming back.
So
Is it
I mean,
this year? It's Halloween?
September, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so it's not fundamentals, whatever. It's Michael Keaton that's driving Japan.
Okay. I kind of like that.
Got the logo there.
Do I have this?
Yeah, it's in the deck somewhere.
Okay. Japan's having a moment.
This is a Japan moment. I mean,
Yeah.
this is great.
So we asked this guy. This guy makes the technology for all the brokerage apps in Japan.
Okay,
He's
that's great.
like the way Apex powered all the U.S. So he's doing that for Japanese trading, and he said like only 10% of Japanese people have money in the stock market. Like,
Yes.
culturally, they
Yes.
have no interest.
Funny enough, Jason in our morning meeting brought that up too. That they're just not there.
But that's bullish.
Oh, I think it's super bullish.
Yeah, because they're not going to ignore this.
You're gonna have to get on board soon.
Yeah, I agree.
Or if you're not there already.
My head looks so white in these pictures, Nicole.
Wait, he got a sneak peek of the pictures?
Too much mate.
No, we can color correct that. What color would you like your head to be, Michael?
I don't know, like a little bit less. Absolutely.
You don't
white.
pronounce the E at the end
White?
of Nat.
Mate.
No, it's not Mete.
I know. I call it whatever.
All right. Your head looks great.
Wait, I want to recommend Ben put me on to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I can't believe how good it is. I had like no interest in the show, but the acting and the writing, it's like quality.
Did you watch
It's
the
really
movie?
good.
Did you watch the movie?
In the theater.
Like with Brad
Right.
Pitt?
Yeah, and it was sort of a joke, right? I haven't seen it. I don't remember it that well, but it wasn't great, was it?
What's good about what makes the show good?
The acting and the writing. It's
Is
really
it like,
good.
Is it like funny? Or is it like really serious?
No, neither. I wouldn't. It's not a comedy. It's just.
John, you like it?
It's just f***ing good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
There are moments, definitely. Good writing.
Is
yeah.
that Childish Gambino?
Yes.
Okay, he's always good.
And Maya Erskine, she's great. They're just. It's just good. It's fun.
There you go. Oh, I have a flight this weekend. Maybe I'll. What do they put the whole season out, or is it a movie?
I think
What is
the
it?
Okay, it's fun. It's a good watch, and it's quality.
Maybe I'll do that. All right. Hey, we're
And
gonna
thorough.
wrap. Duncan, do we have anything else that we're doing?
That's it.
All right, Duncan, you did an awesome job this week. Thank you so much. As always, John, incredible job. everybody on the team. Guys, shout out to everybody. Daniel, too. Really appreciate it. The listeners, the viewers really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Nicole, great job. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We want to make sure you go ahead and leave a rating and review on the podcast app of your choice.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. No, we don't do that today. Do we do that?
You usually do.
Hey, everybody. Have a good weekend. Thank you.